Good morning, everyone. I am Arlene Bergantin, a STEM student of grade 12 OLF. Today, I am going to tackle the sexual and asexual reproduction. There are two types of reproduction, the sexual and asexual. Sexual and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is that when an organism reproduces sexually, it integrates the genetic and formation from each of its parents to create a genetically distinct organism. So, here we come to the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction generates offspring that are genetically identical to a single parent. Sexual reproduction involves the sex cells and fertilization, so two parents are involved to generate the offspring. Example, plants and animals or mammal. Asexual reproduction does not involve sex cells and fertilization, so a single parent gives rise to offspring. Example is binary fission. Reproduction means producing more of the same type of organism. People having babies, plants producing seeds, and bacteria dividing. There are two main types of sexual and asexual. In sexual reproduction involves two parents, each one providing a reproductive cell which combine with the other parent's reproductive cell to produce a new unique cell which can develop into a complete organism. Asexual reproduction, on the other hand, has only one parent and all the offspring are genetic clones of that parent. Under most circumstances, animals reproduce by sexual reproduction. An egg cell from the female fuses from the sperm cell from the male. These reproductive cells, the egg and the sperm cell, are known as gametes, and this process of fusion deform a new cell and is called fertilization. Like all cells, the gametes contain DNA, the genetic instructions that makes us who we are. During fertilization, the DNA of each parent combines, meaning that when the cell fuse, they produce a new unique cell with a combination of the DNA of each parent. This new cell is called a zygote. The zygote divides millions of times and develops into a new organism. The same general process happens in flower and plants. They have male and female gametes, which combine produce a zygote. The male gametes of flowers are found in pollen grains, while the female gametes are found in the ovules. A fertilized ovule develops into a seed which can develop into a new plant. Unlike sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction involves one parent producing offspring which have DNA that is identical to parents' DNA. Let's look at the fewer examples in plants. Some plants produce runners. These are basically long stems that grow horizontally in certain points along the runner. New vertical stem roots can form if separated from the parent plant. These new stem and root systems, the daughter plants, can exist independently. Tubers are another method. Tubers are basically just modified plant stem or roots acting as a storage of food for the plants. Potatoes are really common examples of tubers. If you ever left potato for too long before eating them, you might have noticed that little green shoots on them. This happens potatoes on the ground too, and these new stems can grow into new independent plants since they ultimately came from a single parent plant. They have the same DNA and genetically identical to that parent. The importance of sexual and asexual reproduction is that it's hugely important on this timeline because it allows organisms to begin combining genes, allowing the next generation do more than its parents, upping the chance of survival and enabling the population to increase rapidly when the conditions are favorable.